So this is Shruthilaya. So today I am here to explain you about the process of Cognizant for the 2022 Passouts. So let's see how the process of Cognizant is this year. So first, let us see what is the eligibility criteria. And the student should possess consistent percentage of 60% throughout their academics. Throughout their academic means it should be 60% in SSC, intermediate, and 60% till the last semester of your graduation. And they should not have any backlogs when they are attempting the exam. Also, aggregate of the student should have applied for re-evaluation, and if they are waiting for the results, will be derived on the initial scores only. In the sense, whatever the percentage they are maintaining till last semester, that should be equal to 60%. And CGPA conversion they consider as per your university. For example, if you're considering your CGPA that is 6 into 10, it gives you 60%. So, depending on the conversion of your university, that conversions will be considered by the Cognizant. And you have to maintain 60% when you are applying for the Cognizant. And this opportunity is available only for the Indian students. So, this is all about the eligibility criteria. And the next point, when the students are applying for the Cognizant, they need to have some of the important documents. The important documents which is mentioned on the screen, that is, a resume should be of 2 pages and it should also contain a photograph. That is a recent photograph. It should be at the top right corner of your resume. So this is the first document. Second document is you need to have your college ID card mandatorily, because when you are applying for the Cognizant or you're applying for, if you're giving your interview, you have to show your ID card to the interviewer, since they wanted to know that from which college you are there, because during the application process you will be selecting your college name. So during the interview process they wanted to check whether you have given your college name correct or not. That is how it goes with the college ID card. And the third point is whatever the academic documents you have, that should be merged. You have to make a merge PDF of all your academic documents, and you have to upload it during your registration. And also, one government ID proof is mandatory. That is, it can be a PAN card or otherwise it can be your passport first page and the last page. You have to scan the first page and last page of your passport and you have to upload it as a PDF. So these are the some of the mandatory documents. And coming to the documents at the interview, you, as I already told you, that whatever the resume you are uploading, you have to take that resume during the interview, provided you need to have your college ID card and all your academic or documents, whatever you have uploaded during the registration process, all that need to be carried during the interview. So it can be a virtual interview or it can be a physical interview, but the documents which you are uploading during your registration should be carried with you for the interview. And also your ID card, government ID card. As I told you, it can be your PAN card or your passport. So this is all about the eligibility criteria and the mandatory documents which you need to have for your interview as well as for applying the Cognizant. Next, let us see how many profiles they are offering you. Here we can see 4 profiles which they are giving you. The first profile is GenC for a package of 4 lakhs per annum, where you need to have a minimal coding skills. So to get offer with GenC, Cognizant GenC, you need to have a minimal coding skills. So this is for the first profile. Coming to the second profile, it is GenC Elevate. Again, here the package is 4 lakhs plus skill bonus. Skill bonus in the sense, whatever the work you are doing, based on that, they'll be giving you some bonus. It can be 1 lakh, 2 lakh or 3 lakh. Based on your work, they'll be giving you a skill bonus. And coming to this GenC Elevate, you need to have a knowledge on the foundations in programming and database skills. And it now comes with the third profile, that is GenC Pro, which is for the package of 5.4 lakhs per annum. Here, you need to be expertise in enterprise platforms It can be a product and specific technologies. So this is how you need to rate yourself. You have to check where you stand, and according to that you need to apply for the profiles. And the last profile, which is for 6.7 lakhs per annum, that is GenC Next. So here you need to have an advanced programming skills with full stack abilities, whatever you have. So this is how Cognizant has segregated the profiles into 4 ways. So based on your interest, based on the technology, or based on the platform which you are interested in, you can select the profiles. And next comes to the selection process and the timelines of these 4 profiles. So as you can see over the screen that there are 4 profiles, that is GenC, GenC Elevate, GenC Pro and GenC Next. Coming to the GenC, your first round will be your aptitude. So aptitude in the sense you will be having aptitude questions, quantitative reasoning, all these questions comes under the aptitude. So if you are clearing this aptitude round, you will be sent for the next round, that will be your subject matter interview. Again, when I'm talking about subject matter interview, it means that whatever the subject, if you belongs to CSC, you need to be very thorough about your subjects. It will be completely, the interview will be completely based on your subjects, on your resume. Whatever you put in your resume, that will be asked in the subject matter interview. And the final round will be your HR round. So if you're doing all this round, so you will be offered with a package of 4 lakhs per annum. That is for GenC. Now comes to the next profile, that is GenC Elevate. Here, GenC Elevate, the first round will be your skill-based assessment. So here we don't have any aptitude, any English. It is directly a skill-based assessment. It will be you have to study for database. You have to study OOPS. It will be completely depending on the programming and coding. Skill-based assessment is nothing but your programming and the coding. This all syllabus will be covered in the skill-based assessment. I'll be further telling you what are the topics which are covered under the skill-based assessment. So next, if you're clearing your skill-based assessment, you have to face technology interview. So technology interview is again completely based on technology on which you are interested in. And the last will be your HR interview. Now, let's see the next profile, that is GenC Pro. In the GenC Pro, as you have written GenC Elevate, the same way here also it will be a skill-based test, continued with technology interview and then HR interview. Again, now a GenC Next. So since GenC Next, you have to apply right now, because the last date of GenC Next registrations is 29 July 2021, 6 p.m. You can apply till tomorrow 6 p.m. for the GenC Next profile. So in the GenC Next profile, again, you have to go through with 3 rounds. That will be first round skill-based test, second round will be your technology interview, and third round will be your HR interview. So once you're through with all these rounds, then you will be offered with a package of 6.75 lakhs per annum with a profile of GenC Next. So let's see in detail how the GenC Next roles will be. So these are the GenC Next roles. So you'll be given a different roles. So when you're registering for the GenC Next, so there itself you need to select the roles. So you have to just select which role you are interested in. You can see number of roles on the screen. You can select any one of the role in which you are really interested in, and then you can proceed with the exam. So this is the GenC Next roles which are given. And coming to the GenC Elevate, these are some of the roles in the GenC Elevate. AI, ML developer, big data developer, .NET developer, Unix developer, cloud developer, Java developer, software developer, engineer and testers. So these are the roles which cover under the GenC Elevate. Next is GenC Pro profile, and the roles are this. That is Salesforce developer, ServiceNow developer, MuleSoft developer, Oracle solution developer, Pega developer, SAP developer, static expert developer, product analyst and engineer. And coming to the GenC, application analyst, infrastructure engineer and quality engineer. So these are the roles which will be covered under the GenC, GenC Elevate, GenC Pro and GenC Next. So based on your interest, you can select the roles. So as of now, there is only, the applications are taken only for GenC Next. So you can select your role in which you are interested in, and you can fill your application. So now let's see GenC Next hiring process. So first you have to do your registration in the superset. So when I say you have to do your registration, you have to get one link for the registration. So that link will be sent from your placement officer to your mail ID. So the link which you have received, you have to click on that link, and that link will be directed towards the superset. So there you have to create your superset ID, where you can see all your further details of complete your Cognizant process, which will be processed further. So once you are done with your registration, so in the registration itself, you have to select a role in which role you are interested in. And once you're done with your registration process, you will receive a mail for the exam, that is your skill based test. So just note down the important dates of the GenC Next hiring. Registration will be end on 29 July 2021. Skill based test will be in the first week of August, and technical HR interviews will be done in the second week of August for the GenC Next hiring. So now, once you receive an exam link for the skill-based test, you have to write a skill-based test. Now, here, once you are done with your skill-based test, if you're meeting the cutoff of GenC Next, you will be sent for the next round. That will be your technical and HR round. If your cutoff is not meeting GenC Next and meeting GenC Elevate, then you will be sent for the GenC Elevate interview. Again, in the GenC Elevate interview, you have to attend technical interview, you have to attend HR interview. But these interviews will be done in the month of September. So here you can see two ways. First way is, if you're meeting the cutoff of GenC Next, you will be sent for the GenC Next technical and HR interview. And if you're not meeting GenC Next and meeting GenC Elevate cutoff, then you will be sent for the GenC Elevate technical and HR interview. So once you are done with your GenC Next technical and HR interview, your offer will be given as GenC Next with a package of 6.75 lakhs per annum. And for example, you got rejected in technical or HR interview of the GenC Next, and interviewer found that you're suitable for the GenC Elevate, they will give you an offer for the GenC Elevate for a package of 4 lakhs per annum plus skill bonus. One more opportunity you are having here. For example, you're not cleared both GenC Next and GenC Elevate, and you have some basic cutoff, so your role will be on hold for the further profiles. As I told you that we have 4 profiles, so we are left off with 2 more profiles, that is GenC Pro and GenC. So if your cutoff is satisfying that particular roles, then you will be given an opportunity to attend the interview of GenC or GenC Pro. Hence, if you're not meeting the criteria of GenC Next and GenC Elevate, your profile will be on hold. So this is the complete process of the GenC Next hiring. So let's see what is the pattern of the GenC Next. So in the GenC Next, it will be completely for 3 hours. It is not like the last year. Here the process is changed for this year. This is completely for 3 hours, and you will be having 2 sections. First section will be multiple choice questions, which will be for 40 minutes. And in the 40 minutes, you have to answer 20 to 25 questions. And here the type of questions will be conceptual or code analysis. And the next section will be your coding questions. You have to write 5 to 6 coding questions. You will be given 140 minutes, and the type of questions here you can see is code study. See, you have many platforms like CodeJam, you have HackerRank, you have Geeks for Geeks. So you can just see there some of the examples of the case studies. You will be having a bigger questions, but the answer for that case studies will be small. So I tell you personally that please go through with such type of questions, which may help you to crack the second section of your skill-based assessment of GenC Next hiring. So this is the first part. And coming to the next part, these are some of the topics which are covered in the multiple choice questions. So based on your seniors experience, based on the last type syllabus and all, I have gathered some of the topics. You can just go through these topics, which may help you to get questions, and which may These topics may help you to crack the multiple choice questions in the GenC next. So just go through with these topics. So these are the some of the important topics which will be covered in the multiple choice questions. And next comes your technical interview. See, when I'm talking about technical interview, it is purely technical. So you have to be very good with your technical. For example, if an interviewer asks you, the first question is tell me about yourself. Here, you have to tell about you completely, followed with in which subject you're very good in. For example, you tell an interviewer that, sir, I am very good in data structures. I have practiced many questions in Hacker, Rank, CodeJam, whatever the platforms you have. So interviewer will be very particular to ask you questions only on that. Do not tell more about yourself that you know more programming. Just tell them that I am very good with this topic and I'm flexible with this topic. So interviewer will ask only the questions related to what you have told in your personal interview. That is, tell me about yourself. Now, coming to the some of the questions based on the experience, it will be like rate yourself in the coding. So because you have already told in the self introduction that you are very good in the coding, now interviewer is very particular to know where you stand in the coding. So he'll ask you how you rate yourself in the coding. Don't tell him that I am 10 of 10. Just tell him that, yeah, I'm 6, I'm 7 since I've practiced some of the questions in the Hacker and CodeJam and all. I am good with it. This is how you have to answer. That is rate yourself in coding. Next is tell me about sorting and all. Since you have told him that you are very good in the data structures, he'll be asking you more questions on it. So he's very interested to know how much you know about the database. So this is how the questions will be. So tell me about sorting. What is merge sorting? Write a code on it. So this technical interview may last up to 45 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes. And at the last, he may, I already told you that when you're mentioning anything in the resume, you need to mention clearly about your project. When it comes to the technical interview, interviewer will definitely ask you about your project, which you have already done in your BTech. So if you're not done your project yet, you have to mention, for example, you have developed some app or otherwise you are interested in this project. For example, you are having some knowledge on particular project. You can tell him that I have not done my project, but then I am interested in this topic and I wanted to do this and that in this project. Also, when you're telling about your project, interviewer will also ask you that what is the future scope of your project, because when once you are doing your project, there will be some a future scope for that project. You have to mention that very clearly. So once you're done with your interview, at the last, interviewer will ask you any questions to me. So he just wanted to know how curious you are here to know about the company or know about the process. So you should not sit ideally. You can ask some of the questions related to company, or otherwise you can ask him what are the technologies which are present, or what type of internship you provide, how is the leadership quality. So all these questions you can ask to him. You have to be very curious, you have to be very enthusiastic when you're there in the interview. And I always told you that you have to be very self-confident. Your eye contact should be proper and you should be clean and tidy, neatly dressed when you're attending any interview. So this is about your technical interview. Now comes to the HR interview. HR interview will be very cool, but then you have to answer the questions very logically. So when it comes to the HR interview, the first question he's here, introduce yourself. Introduce yourself in the sense he wanted to test your communication skills, and also he wanted to know how much time you will be staying in the particular company. Anyhow, asking number of questions, he'll find out your how much interest you have to join their company and how many years you will be staying in their company. For example, the questions are like, why Cognizant? You have to tell them why Cognizant. You can tell them like, I am very interested to join Cognizant, but because whatever the technologies like Cognizant is working on, I'm very interested in that technology. You can give your answer like that. So I told you that you need to read your job description before going to any interview. Read job description correctly and make yourself fit into that job description and answer to the HR question. And the questions are like, what technology CTS works on? Since you have not mentioned anything, why Cognizant, he will ask you whether you know that Cognizant works on which technology. So you have to mention on which technology is Cognizant working on. Next, where do you see yourself in the next first year? Of course, here, as I told, he wanted to know for how many years you're staying with the company. So this, he wanted to find out this from this question. So answer it very logically. And the last question, any questions from for me? So you can ask any questions to the interviewer, only related to the company, again not related to the salaries and all, because salaries and all will be already mentioned in the job description. One important point I wanted to mention you, that if you're not meeting the cutoff of GenC Next, then students are eligible even to apply for GenC Elevate or GenC. So this is all about the Cognizant process. Thank you and all the best, guys.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.